roles and it being a non-denominational ministry. A lot of people ask me, how in the world did you end up starting a church? Because I think a lot of people believe that if you start your own church or ministry, you must have some sort of delusion that you are special, you're chosen by God. Rest assured, I'm not that guy. I'm not that person. I studied so many world religions as an anthropologist and a theologian, and when I was doing those studies, several things popped out at me. They really struck me about the dominant world religions that most of us are familiar with. And personally, I'd never found a church or a tradition that I felt completely at ease with. You may find a new spiritual home here with Sacred Heart of the Rose. Rest assured, you do not have to disavow your prior membership or affiliation in any other organized religion. You're welcome to bring the best of those here, what you love about those traditions and those religions, bring them here, hold on to them, use them in your search for spiritual peace. Emphasize kind of looking at some of these old beliefs with a fresh perspective. Like I said, when I was doing my studies, especially my theological studies, the dominant religions emphasize some failing in the human condition that corresponds to a religious or spiritual goal. With Confucianism, the human problem is chaos, and the spiritual solution is societal order. With Buddhism, the human problem is suffering, and the spiritual solution is awakening. With Confucianism, the human problem is chaos, and the spiritual solution is societal order. With Buddhism, the human problem is suffering, and the spiritual solution is awakening. Within Judaism, the human problem is exile, and the spiritual solution is return to God. With Islam, the human problem is pride, and the spiritual solution is submission. With Christianity, the human problem is sin, and the spiritual solution is salvation. These religions emphasize that there's only one prescribed path to spiritual solution, whatever that is for each religion. Follow their rules, or you will not achieve your spiritual goals, is basically the message they give you. At Sacred Heart of the Rose, we emphasize that the path may well be unknowable. We believe in the unknowable and the possibility of many paths to spiritual well-being and achievement. We believe that all will be revealed as you take that journey. Order can be good, don't get me wrong. Awakening is good. A return to God is good. Salvation is good. Submission can be good. We don't argue against those religions and their belief systems. We choose another path, one that includes free questioning and discussion. And our basis will always be a positive approach. We will choose to emphasize the best in humanity, and the best Eskimos, and the priest who is there to convert the Eskimos to Christianity. The Eskimo said, "If I did not know about God and sin, would I go to hell?" And the priest replied, "No, not if you did not know." And the Eskimo said, "Then why did you tell me?" And I think that's an important idea. I'm not here to tell you. I'm not here to tell you one way or another what you should believe or where you're going or what's out there. I'm just here to help you discuss it, to ask questions, find answers, think about things in a different perspective. I might be considered a guide, but certainly not some kind of formal religious leader. Paul Valery said God made everything out of nothing, but the nothingness shows through. Next week I want us to continue that notion. I want us to look at what do we mean by God. When I use the name God, that title, that word, I'm not necessarily thinking of God as a he or a she or an it or a supreme being the way most religious traditions will describe God. I use that word because it's what most Americans are comfortable with when they're describing that thing, that entity, that being, that essence that I truly believe almost everybody believes in. They may have different names for it or different ways to describe it, but that's one of the things I really want to work on with you guys. I want to know what you think of God and what you think that word means. And Jesus, the same thing is true of Jesus. How do we define Jesus Christ? Gandhi said, "I like your Christ. I do not like your Christians. Your Christians are so unlike your Christ." And I think that's really important. We've moved kind of far away from the teachings of Christ, if you think about it. Even people who consider themselves stalwart Christians sometimes have gone a little bit to the dark side. And so I think it's important for us at Sacred Heart of the Rose to talk about those concepts and discuss God and Jesus and their, I don't want to say personalities, but what they are to us. For example, for me, God is so many different things. God is everything. I can't really define God in an easy, simple way, but I think that's okay. I think as long as I have faith in something that I recognize as other, as spiritual, as whole, then I'll find my path to that place, to that entity. And that's what I want all of you to do. I want you to find your path. Your faith, your faith, your faith, your individual faith will guide you. And Sacred Heart of the Rose is just here to help with that journey. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to give you some homework for next week. Next week, since I want to talk more about this notion of God and how we define Him, her, it, and Jesus and Christ and those notions. Because some people think Christ and Jesus are slightly different things or entities. Anyway, the homework is do some research, find a few quotes that help you question or answer what God is to you, what Jesus is to you, what Christ is to you, those fundamental Christian-oriented entities. Bring those with you next time, or email them to me, revalys @comcast.net. I can compile them and we can talk about them together this week. And thank you for bearing with me last week when we did not meet. My daughter got married, so happy 1-week anniversary to my daughter and my new husband. And but we'll see you back here next week with all these questions. We're not going to answer them in one day. We're not going to answer them in a lifetime. But we're going to start asking the questions and we're going to have discussions about it. So thank you for coming today. Thank you out there in the internet tube lands. We'll see you next time. We'll see all of you next time.